world-class academic research institutions. 2, they have world-class investors that are interested in entrepreneurship. And then the third thing, it actually has to be an attractive place to live. That's the secret sauce. It's a very informal place of openness, of feeling like it's a place that young scientists want to come and begin their careers. And San Diego is an incredibly attractive place to be for that.
Attracting talent is only half the equation. Managing and maintaining that growth for the future is crucial. San Diego is also nurturing the next generation.
So I wanted to show you some of the creations that these kids have made, and they're pretty ridiculously awesome.
Qualcomm, the world leader in next-generation mobile and wireless technologies, has decided to nurture the future. In this lab, children from all over San Diego come to exercise their creativity. Utilizing all kinds of electronics, servos, resistors, circuit boards, and solar panels, it's a 21st century classroom for today's tech-savvy kids.
This is what they've created in less than an hour. And they didn't know any circuitry or programming before.
Giving Andrew the lowdown on what this initiative is trying to achieve is program head Navrina Singh.
We are big believers in the fact that leaders don't create a set of new followers, they actually create more leaders. What we are providing here is a real vision, a real piece of future for our young kids who get to play around with technology, who get to interact with real-life role models who are engineers and scientists and technologists.
I'm just saying, cool, right?
Sheer brilliance. I love it.
The reason we selected the 6th to 8th graders is this is a very impressionable age. This is a time that they're really forming their opinions about what they want to do in their lives. So what we are trying to do is really encourage the future generation of technologists and innovators. It's all about real-world applicability, and we are trying to just keep it very real here.
What these kids are learning is how to be innovative. The things that they're doing are no different than all of the other amazing innovations I've witnessed in San Diego. They may be less practical, but I watch those kids and I know that in 10 or 15 or 20 years, they're going to be running our lives.
It's over!
This spirit of innovation permeates the city. None more so than with a locally produced aviation groundbreaker that is pushing the limits of unmanned aircraft.
Now, when we hear unmanned aircraft, most of us think of the military. But in San Diego, that technology has some very smart applications that reach far beyond the base.
The Global Hawk is an autonomous, high-altitude aircraft. And Andrew meets one of the original developers, George Guerra.
Well, it was originally developed back in the mid-90s as a project for DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It was envisioned as something that could stay up there for long periods of time at high altitudes and cover vast geographic areas.
Flying at up to 65,000 feet, the Global Hawk relays real-time images back to base from a unique perspective. The extraordinary capabilities of military reconnaissance drones led to their use in controversial anti-terrorist missions. But now, the unarmed Global Hawk is casting its eye over the world for science.
How did the technology of the unmanned aerial system evolve from military use to its current applications?
It was in 2007 when there were fires burning here in Southern California. There was a need to understand what was happening with those fires. And Global Hawk flying as long as it can and being at that altitude, you can take a lot of pictures and use that to guide relief teams to get to those areas. With a system like this, you're giving them real-time data. And it was great to hear a firefighter say, "You don't know how valuable your data was to me and how I was able to help save lives and property."
In addition to disaster relief, the Global Hawk is helping NASA track climate change by imaging inaccessible Arctic regions and providing crucial information on hurricane development.
Literally, it's a click of a mouse that will actually can launch the system.
To find out if this system can make high-altitude aerial work open to civilian applications, Andrew's going to fly one, and at a significant distance, on the other side of the country.
And so you can hit the launch command.
Are we ready to launch? All right.
We're set.
Launching.
And you'll see up here, the aircraft is now lifting off.
We're taking
the
off. Oh no. Okay. I couldn't believe that we actually have this technology, that we can send aircraft up who can give us real-time information.
So you're presently flying at 30 knots airspeed and accelerating.
I got so excited just sitting there, and suddenly I wanted to fly this thing to all of these places in the world because I wanted to see what was happening there right then. Why did such a unique technology start here in San Diego?
I think part of it stems from the aviation history that's here in San Diego, from the early days of the Spirit of St. Louis for Charles Lindbergh, and really good schools. We never seem to have a shortage of people that are interested in working in this type of area. We're proud of the fact that, we developed it here in San Diego, and we're continuing to grow that technology from the first days of when we started Global Talk to what it's evolved today.
People here are working very hard, and some of the things they're doing are extremely serious. But it doesn't feel that way when you talk to them. It's almost as if they're playing. They're playing with technology, and the things that they're finding have very serious implications for the city, but for the whole world.
A fast-growing city is often a city of diversity. But how is San Diego managing the potentially damaging forces of assimilation? To explore this crucial aspect of a modern, tolerant metropolis, Andrew's going back to the beginning.
Before the United States was a country, San Diego was a city, and it started here at this old mission, founded in 1769 by Franciscan monks who'd sailed up from Mexico. They named this spot San Diego de Alcala, after the Spanish saint. And today in the city, you can still feel that old Spanish flavor.
A Spanish heritage seen in many of the buildings of Balboa Park. Designed by architect Bertram Goodhue for the 1915 International Exposition to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal, the intent was to capture the romantic glamour of Seville and Toledo in Spain. In addition to the colonial revival buildings, the 1,200-acre park was extensively landscaped for the expo, leaving a lasting legacy in the city. But maintaining older monuments won't by itself solve modern diversity problems. To discover how San Diego does it now, Andrew heads back downtown to Barrio Logan. At the foot of the Coronado Bridge is the colorful Chicano Park, a public space created by residents.
As San Diego grew, this neighborhood was slated to be destroyed. The vision of urban developers was basically to build a bridge here and turn this into a gray, dead space. But the original inhabitants of this neighborhood, the Mexican Americans, came together and they said no.
Forming a human chain around the bulldozers, construction work had to stop.
They wanted to keep their mark on this place, so they added these murals of their heroes. What's most remarkable is that today, the most prominent bridge in San Diego represents a bridge to the city's most prominent culture.
Across the US, immigrant populations are being dissolved into the American cultural melting pot. But here in San Diego, communities proud of their heritage are maintaining their diversity.
There's urban renewal, and because of our concerns with energy and living space, it just makes sense for people to move back into the city centers. But it doesn't happen automatically. You have to make very specific decisions. And what I admire in San Diego is that they really want to keep the original flavor of the neighborhoods. So for Barrio Logan, they really want to treasure the old Mexican past and what that means.
Barrio Logan is one of the oldest and most culturally rich urban neighborhoods in San Diego. It seems to be working. San Diego is one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the US, with over 100 different languages spoken.
I feel like San Diego reflects a tradition that you see in port cities all over the world, which is that people from so many different countries and cultures collide. You have the Mexicans, the Vietnamese, and Filipinos, and Chinese all coming together. It's this beautiful eruption of new things. And that really is a force for innovation.
An upside to the cultural mosaic, where communities are encouraged to preserve their heritage, is the food.
What a glorious day. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. This is beautiful.
Today, Andrew is tagging along with local luminary, Chef Su Mei Yu.
See, in the middle of nowhere, we're surrounded by mountains.